How's it going, guys? So I had to do a video about the releases today because these are just absolutely insane. So a month ago they released Samoa Joe, Mickie James. I didn't care about Joe, but Mickie James, they weren't really using her, but she's one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. So they should have found something for her, and plus she's smoking hot. But now we move on to this week, to this month, June 2nd, and guess what? Braun Strowman, he's gone. He's out of there. I don't understand this. I only watch certain clips of Raw when something really strikes my interest. But Braun Strowman was just in a triple threat match for the world title. For the WWE Championship at the last pay-per-view Backlash. And at a WrestleMania match with Shane McMahon. And now he's not there. I mean, okay, Braun Strowman is a guy that he was up and down again. They said the guy was late to the arena. But when Roman Reigns couldn't make it to last year's WrestleMania, we had Strowman being slotted in. He won the Universal title, and it was one of the most forgettable reigns of all time. I was taking a break during that time, so I really didn't get to see a whole lot of it. But, it was a pretty lame reign. And, somewhere along the line, they decided, shave his head, have him wear a tan shirt with gloves, and they just never knew what to do with this guy. Had a whole bunch of different on-again, off-again pushes. The guy was a good big man. Some of his stuff was very questionable. I'll never be able to forget the elf thing. Remember that terrible elf thing? And see, he posed, as Wonder Woman. And then we saw him posing with short shorts, and on top of that, the guy talked about bullying. He completely destroyed his character on TV. So Braun Strowman is obviously the biggest release here. But that's not the only one. Aleister Black. Aleister Black is gone. Now, I've had mixed feelings about Aleister Black, where I just don't really see a future in this guy, and turns out, at least for right now, there is no future for Aleister Black in WWE. Guys, this guy didn't do it for me. Now, those little vignettes that they were producing, story time with with Aleister Black, they were well done. The animation was nice, and they spent money on that, obviously, paying an artist to do it. They spent time, money. And then they had him come out there in the Intercontinental title match. And you remember, guys, I ranted on it. Even though I'm not a big Aleister Black fan, I don't really dislike the guy. Just kind of like, he's there, and okay, I'll take him, I guess. He's not bad, he's not great. But, you do all this build up, you have the guy come out in a cloud of smoke, and the guy went up in a cloud of smoke. He's gone. He's history. He is released. And so I guess this answers my question why we didn't see him last week on SmackDown. It was very sudden. I'm like, how do you go from being the deciding factor after weeks of vignettes, after an entire month of vignettes, and then you just flat out disappear? So that was the case with Aleister Black. Very strange, very sudden. You have Murphy. And you kind of think, before we move on, you've got guys like Boogs and everything where you're kind of looking and saying, and you have Lucha House Party and all these guys, and you have to at least admit that there's more money in an Aleister Black if, presented properly than, El Dorado or, or Grand Metalik or Boogs, any of these doofuses that they're showing. And at least you've got guys like Braun Strowman, but Kevin Owens, the guy who's a fat piece of garbage who can't get in shape, who looks like a total mess, who looks like a bum out on the streets, this guy gets to keep his job apparently, but Strowman and Black gotta go. Now I don't know what the reason was, but this was cost cutting mostly. There might have been other factors that might have helped it along. Now Murphy, this was another guy they had no idea what to do with. He seemed like a competent wrestler, but like there was just nothing here, no personality. The whole thing with him dating Rey Mysterio's daughter Aaliyah, I don't think anyone was really buying into this. Like that was kind of just something like, let's give the guy something to do because he has no personality, no other value that we can find for him. So we're going to give him the rub off of another star. And I mean, like, yeah, it's good that he has a purpose on the show, but again, like, was this guy really going places? And it might not be his fault. Maybe in some other time I would have had a different perspective, but really, like, Murphy, like, this is, come on. Like, a guy just called Murphy, just that alone. Is this guy winning a world title? Is this guy main eventing WrestleMania? Is this guy going to be, immortalized forever in the Hall of Fame? Murphy? I don't think so. We also got Lana, this is a surprise. Like, this is someone, like, you would think, like, okay, so we got Eva Marie in there. So we're not going to get away from looks anymore. We're not going to shy away from the looks of girls and everything because they still realize that, sex appeal still goes a long way. So we're going to get rid of Lana. Instead of doing something significant with Lana, look, I get it. Rusev, or Miro, as he's being called now in Tony Khan's land of goofs. He was really acting like a big-time goofball over there, and still is. I hear they're trying to make him somewhat of a serious contender over on AEW, but besides the point, they were punishing Lana. It's quite clear they do that a lot of the time. Same thing with Black because of Zelina Vega, but now Zelina Vega is headed back to the company, and this is the other thing where I didn't even think about this, but they're bringing back Zelina Vega only to get rid of Aleister Black. Like, is there something? There's got to be some sort of a mind game going on there. Like, we're hiring your wife back, but we're getting rid of you. Like okay, cost cutting. You got to believe that there's probably more value in Aleister Black than Zelina Vega. I mean, I don't know. She's cute, but you're not. Come on, Zelina Vega or Eva Marie or Lana. Like, which one of those are you going to pick? Come on, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, personal taste and everything, but I just don't see a lot in Zelina Vega. Wrestler. Yeah, I'm not saying she's bad looking or anything, attractive girl, but, I mean, there's no value there. I mean, at least when you look at a guy like Aleister Black, like, saying from, like, this perspective of, who looks like they belong there, you'd see, like, that guy's attention getting, at least the tattoos, the look that they were going for. They seemed like they were going to add more elements to his entrance and his character. So it was interesting to see where that was going to go. It wasn't going to go far, but I don't know. It's just weird that they're bringing back Vega. Because, like, just saying, like, Zelina Vega's coming back. Do you care? Eva Marie's like, actually, I'm sort of intrigued by that, I can't really say so much for Zelina. But, Lana, like, there's obviously a lot of fans. You see what people say about Lana online. Like, there's a lot of fans that like Lana. They're attracted to Lana. And they're just like, first of all, they really dressed her down. They tried to make her into a wrestler. When that wasn't really her forte, but they forced her into it anyway, putting her into random tag teams, having her get slammed through the announcer table countless times by Nia Jax. There was really no future for her, I suppose. But Ruby Riott, first of all, I don't even know what Ruby Riott was doing there in the first place. Ruby Riott, like I said, hard to look at, not even a good wrestler. She was just on SmackDown. Like, at least Lana wasn't even there for a while. Well, she did compete at WrestleMania, but that was in that tag team turmoil match, so they could have really thrown anyone into that match. That was kind of just, throw all the teams in there and just a big old mishmash. And you have someone like Ruby Riott. Now, okay, they made a good call there. Are you going to pick Liv Morgan, the attractive hot girl, or are you going to choose Ruby Riott, who's not really doing it for anyone's eye candy? So I don't even understand. They were holding on to 2/3 of the Riot Squad without Sarah Logan there, and it was like pointless. They tried to have Liv go on her own. I guess Liv Morgan is going to have to go on her own. But I've got a big feeling that we're going to get a few more months of mileage. It's going to be the same thing like Billie Kay. Peyton Royce goes first, and we're like, oh, well, Billie Kay survived because she's the more valuable member because of her entertainment value. And then she's gone. So I see the same thing happening for Liv. But yeah, Ruby Riott, no loss there. Santana Garrett, I don't know who the hell that is. I think it's an NXT star. So I don't even understand why they're kind of listing her as a WWE superstar. But anyway, this is very surprising, especially with Braun Strowman gone. It just shows like this company has no direction. And, before you start saying, hey, W, they didn't know where they're going. Yeah, okay, sure. They just hired Mark Henry, pushing those new stars, guys. And Tony Khan, Little Big League. Tony Khan is already he's salivating at the mouth. Oh, they released Braun Strowman. Oh, and Aleister Black. I'll make them big stars. Whoa. Yeah. Guys, pathetic. You're going to see Tony is going to be raiding the AEW graveyard. He's already got his shovel. He's going to start, digging up all those who've been released. He's going to go and choose everyone from the unemployment line. That's Tony Khan's style. That's what he's doing. He's going to, get the used, recycled wrestlers that WWE doesn't want anymore. And, yeah, there's value in Strowman. There's value in Black for, a brand like AEW that needs all the help they can get. Anyway, there you go, guys. There's my reaction to the releases. I think that they're surprising. Anyone saying that they're not surprised that someone like Braun Strowman and Aleister Black got released. If you told me Black got released and they didn't do all those vignettes and spend all the time doing that, I would have been like, yeah, well, he hasn't been on TV in a year, so what do you expect? But, and the same thing with Ruby Riott, like, you're just on TV. Now, that's happened in the past. You've seen this with, like, Raven and Just Incredible, where people would get released the next night. But usually they're off TV for a while. That's, like, mostly how it goes. And you're usually not at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Ruby Riott was at Mania. Lana was at Mania. And Braun was at Mania. Braun was just in a main event match, in a world title match. It might have not been the last spot on the card, but it was for the WWE Championship at Backlash. But, there you go, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.